Hi, I'm Ellen. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're returning, I'm truly glad you came back. There's a simple 2-letter word I was terrified to say for 25 years. It felt mean, selfish, wrong, like I was betraying everyone who needed me. I would rather exhaust myself, sacrifice my own needs, and smile through my resentment than say this word out loud. But learning to say it changed everything. My relationships, my energy, my entire life. If you've ever felt guilty for having needs, or exhausted from saying yes to everything while dying inside, this is the story of how one word set me free. The word, of course, was no. And for most of my life, I thought saying it made me a terrible person. Turns out, learning to say it made me an honest one. I grew up believing that good people never say no, that your worth was measured by how useful you were to others, how much you could carry, how many people you could help. I became an emotional sponge, loading myself up with everyone else's needs while completely ignoring my own. The crushing weight of carrying everyone else's expectations felt normal because it was all I'd ever known. I said yes to requests that made my stomach clench, to invitations that drained my energy, to commitments that left me feeling empty. And every time, I told myself I was being kind. But there's nothing kind about lying. And that's what I was doing, lying to them and to myself every time I said yes when I meant no. My people-pleasing had become a cage built from kindness, trapping everyone involved in inauthentic relationships. They thought they were getting the real me, but they were getting a performance. I was so terrified of disappointing anyone that I was disappointing myself daily. The breaking point came one evening when I said yes to helping someone move, while I was already juggling 3 other commitments. I felt this wave of resentment so intense, it scared me. That's when I realized I wasn't helping anyone by pretending I had unlimited capacity. I was creating relationships built on my own exhaustion and their unrealistic expectations. The first time I said no, my heart pounded like I was confessing to a crime. The wave of guilt that followed was overwhelming. The voice in my head screaming that I was being mean, cruel, ungrateful. But something beautiful happened. The world didn't end. The person didn't hate me. They just said, "Okay, no problem," and found another solution. I started learning that no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you honest. And honesty is the foundation of real love. Not everyone was happy about my newfound boundaries, and that taught me something crucial about whose opinions actually matter. The people who respected my no were the ones who truly cared about me as a person, not just what I could do for them. The people who got angry or tried to guilt me, that told me everything I needed to know. Slowly, I discovered that boundaries weren't walls keeping people out. They were invitations to deeper, more authentic relationships. When I showed up honestly, others could relate to me honestly, too. Protecting my energy became the kindest thing I ever learned to do, for myself and everyone I care about. I couldn't pour from an empty cup, and I'd been running on empty for years. Learning to fill my own cup first meant I had something real to offer when I chose to say yes. The profound shift happened when I stopped believing my worth depended on my usefulness. I began understanding that my worth was inherent. I mattered just because I existed, not because of what I could do for others. My relationships transformed from exhausting obligations into genuine connections. People started seeing the real me instead of the agreeable version I'd been performing. And that real me, with boundaries, needs, and the courage to honor them, was so much more lovable than the people pleaser I'd been hiding behind. Learning to say no isn't about becoming selfish. It's about becoming honest. When you honor your own limits, you show up authentically for the things that truly matter. And that's the greatest gift you can give yourself and everyone you love. Your boundaries aren't walls keeping people out. They're invitations to deeper, more genuine connection. The people who matter will respect your no. The people who don't respect it, well, that tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your time, energy, or emotional capacity. You don't have to justify your limits or apologize for having needs. You don't have to earn your worth through exhaustion. That two-letter word, no, isn't mean or selfish or wrong. It's one of the most loving words you can learn to say. Because when you say no to what drains you, you can say yes to what fills you. And that version of you, the honest, boundaried, authentic you, is who the world has been waiting to meet. Thanks for being here. I hope this helped, even in some small way. If it did, maybe stay with me a little longer. This next video might help even more.